Is money and abundance something you've been challenged with? Well, today I share a few lessons I've learned from one of my mentors who's a multimillionaire and how he's been able to develop a good relationship with money and just keep it attracting to him his whole life. Welcome back to the podcast today. Thank you for being here and showing up today. So this is my money dedicated episode because I know it's a thing that many of us are challenged with. And each week I come up with different people's views and lessons I've learned and things that have helped me with my relationship with money. And it's always a work in progress. Now, this is one of my great mentors, Peter Sage, who I've learned a lot from. Great teacher out there in the personal growth field, a human expert, behavior expert, and just a very, very successful entrepreneur. And he's had challenges of going from nothing to building to millions very quickly. He's got one of the strongest minds that I've ever come across in his approach to life. So much so that he was once sent to prison for 6 months and he went in there excited and looked at it in a different perspective. And he's lost everything and then grown it. And the guy is just a very successful business person. And I feel like I've learned a lot about his approach to money now that he's very, very wealthy and accumulates it and it magnetizes to him. So these are what I've learned from him and how I've been able to apply them in my life. Because I know it's such a struggle. And I always come back to energy. Energy towards money is vital. It is the foundation. If you've got a scarcity or a negative feeling in your body, that is never going to be able, you're never going to be able to really attract much money with that kind of feeling, because how we feel dictates our actions, and how we're feeling is the subconscious mind. It is how we're feeling, and therefore that will dictate our actions. Most of our actions are done unconsciously. So if you look at how you're feeling, that is vital for your energy. So what did I learn from Peter? So one of the first things I learned is outer world follows inner world. A little bit of what I was touching on. So many people are like, when I get loads of money, then I'll be happy and be able to do stuff. When actually what I found in my experience is it's the other way around. And this is what Peter teaches. And I've been learning from many successful podcast guests recently. I've had a couple of amazing coaching programs. Well, not a couple, a few amazing coaching programs have gone through. And it always comes back to this. They say it in different ways, but it always this. Outer world follows the inner world, and people don't like to believe that a lot of the time. What that means is if you're waiting to feel good from getting results, that is completely the wrong way around. You feel good, even if things aren't so good for you in your present circumstance, and then that's going to increase the odds of things showing up. Now, I'm not talking about suppression. I'm not saying like, you go like, oh, I'm so in debt right now, and like, oh, I'm getting evicted, or the love of my life just left me. There's an emotions to feel, right? It's not about pushing them away, but it's like training your emotions whilst practically living in the world. So if you got bills to pay, practically go and pay them. If you got to work through a difficult situation, practically work through it. But emotionally train yourself to feel good more often than not. And sometimes that requires a release. It requires you to scream into a pillow or to cry, to then raise your vibration. Like this morning, I was feeling like I'm really going through the transitioning phase into this beautiful place. But like I found a few things from the past were just kind of, I was feeling a little bit of anger in my body. So I let it go. And then suddenly my vibration and my feeling of joy raised. So really focus on feeling good as much as possible. Practically live in the world. You got bills to pay. You can't sit around and meditate all day or do breathwork all day. But like find time to feel good, whatever it takes, exercise, all these kind of things. For me, if I have alcohol, even though if life's good, I get depressed. So I have to be very conscious of what I'm consuming. And there's some foods that make me feel like that as well. So focus on feeling good inside rather than waiting to feel good when you get a result, right? So that's the first one. The second one, become a person of value. This is really, really vital. If you look at people making a lot of money constantly, they're adding value. And then people get really annoyed and go like, well, I work really hard. What I've learned is working hard is not adding value. Well, let me rephrase that. You can work hard and add value, and people adding value usually are working hard. But like working hard does not mean you're adding value. There's people who work multiple jobs and don't earn much money because at the end of the day, they're not actually adding much value to someone's life. You could be working 3 jobs and I I'm going to say this as an example. It's not to offend anyone. This is to help you because I've been there. Like I've worked in a supermarket, in a shop. I've worked in like admin roles, right? But at the end of the day, if I'm working maybe an admin role in a job where I'm like doing photocopying or writing up some notes, or I'm in the supermarket, I'm scanning people shopping, maybe I'm sacking the shelves, right? I could be working hard, really, really hard doing those things. But at the end of the day, am I adding much value to the world? I've done those things and the answer is no, right? It's when people demand pay rises when, yeah, maybe they're working hard and they're doing a lot of hours, but like you have to step back and say, am I adding value to the world? Someone who comes in to a business and says, this is how you could save $500,000 or $250,000 a year is adding a lot of value. That's saving them a lot of money. You give someone like a way to have more energy in their life or improve their relationship or find the love of their life. You are adding an incredible amount of value. That's why there's coaches out there who get paid a lot to help people get those results. So really think about how can you add more value. Even if you're like in your company, think about like not just about working hard, but how can you actually add value? Like I've worked with like as part of the consultancy company, and it's like, how do you add more value, not just work hard and go through the motions? People who add value stand out, get promoted. I got promoted in my career by adding value, like presenting things, giving trainings, and people are like, this guy's adding value, not me just going through the same cycles and working hard. So think about how can you add more value and get very honest with yourself, because there's people who moan, they complain and they're not getting promoted and they're just doing the same things, but they're working hard and hours. How can you add value? Number 3, gratitude raises frequency. So focus on that. Now, I used to get really in that place of like, what do you mean gratitude? Like everyone used to say it. But like more often than not, just really feel into the what you can be grateful for. And here's something that worked for me with gratitude is like writing down 3 things every day you're grateful for, but not like a general like I am grateful to be alive, I'm grateful I can walk, I'm grateful I can see. Those are great to begin with, but write about small things in the day. I found that's made a real difference. And then don't just write them, feel them. So gratitude is a really, really key one. And the next one, feel amazing now, not if. This kind of comes back to my first point, but I made it separate. Peter really taught me these 3 things. There's like the victim mentality, which unfortunately is quite a lot of the world. There's the buy me mentality where people like, all right, I'm going to take responsibility, but I'm going to fight everything because life's a struggle, but I'm going to fight my way through it. Or there's this through me mentality. There's also another one as well, but these are the 3 main ones whereby you're like, okay, I'm going to feel good and I'm going to focus on the next move, not like hustling myself to death through everything, right? But a victim mentality is like, I would feel good if that was to happen, or if I was to win the lottery, or if like love of my life just knocked on the door. And the next level up is like, I'll feel good when I like work hard and get this promotion, when I get this amount of sales, or when I keep going on dates and find the right girl or right guy or right person or whoever you're into, right? But like live in this place of feel great now, going back to my first point of like, yeah, do stuff that's aligned that you need to do practically, but feel good no matter what the result is. Don't wait to get the result. Feel good in the effort, in the adventure, in the process. Because what I found when I've done that, more things show up than not. And then the final point to make is that I learned from him, nature does not reward victims. And it's a really good analogy. And a lot of these just kind of like overlap some of these points. So think about nature, like the ones running away, trying to hide and knowing they're a victim. What happens to them? Like the animals, they get eaten, they die, right? They don't thrive. Think about that as a human being. If you're the kind of person like, I'm in danger, things always happen to me, I'm in trouble, and you're trying to hide away, are you more likely to get rewarded from life energetically and from people, or are you more likely to have challenging things happen to you? Think about it. So think about your narrative in your head every single day. I've been caught in it many, many times in my life. It's like we can get caught in it now. It can be like, oh, that was really hard. Why did that happen? And that is me getting caught in the victim mentality instead of like, okay, that's really interesting. That turned up. What am I learning from this? And again, when something really tough happens, I'm not talking about when someone dies or you lose a massive amount of money. You need to grieve, you need to feel, or a massive shift in your life. But I'm talking like if everything is like, oh, it always happens to be our life's so tough, or all these kind of things, then you're not really going to get rewarded. So think about your narrative, just even internally to yourself, because that's creating an energy as well. So those are my lessons on wealth and abundance that I've learned today. Let's go through them again. Outer world follows inner world, not the other way around. You feel good now, and it kind of goes on the point later. Don't wait for something to feel good, because results will show up when you start feeling good and practically taking action. Become a person of value, not just a hard worker, giving value to people, understanding what true value is. Could be making them more money, helping their health or relationships. Right. Gratitude. Get that regularly into your practice. Feel amazing now, not if. Nature does not reward victims is the next point. So focus on creating, not being a victim mentality. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to leave with your heart and not with fear.